Okay, so last time we talked about three different notations, that was big O, big omega, and big theta, right? And usually when we talk about these complexity notations, we mean that what is the time complexity of a particular algorithm in terms of n, where usually n is the size of our array, right? Give me 1 sec, somebody's muted. Can everyone mute their microphone if you're not talking to me?
We can hear you right now, Dr. Bullet.
Yes, but just mute your microphone in case, because otherwise I get feedback. Thank you so much. Okay, so last time we talked about three things: big O, big omega, and big theta. Right. So big O notations usually define the upper bound of our algorithm. That is, okay. So there are two main things to worry about this thing. So I'll explain this thing in detail. So give me 1 sec. Sorry, somebody's noisy. Okay, so big O is essentially the upper bound of our algorithm. So you can think about upper bounds in the sense that that is larger than the maximum time that your algorithm will ever take. So we need to differentiate between two things. We need to differentiate between two things. That is, what is the worst case of our algorithm, and what is the big O notation or the upper bound of our algorithm. Right. So the worst case of our algorithm is defined as given the size of our input, that is n, what is the maximum time that it would take to solve a particular algorithm. But that is slightly difficult because it is easier for sorting algorithms, because we can still say that, okay, we can count the number of loops, we can count the number of function calls, and then we can say that, okay, this particular algorithm will take at max this particular time. But for a general algorithm, it is not always that easy to understand. And our worst case analysis is still difficult. That is why when we say big O of a certain algorithm, we mean that this particular algorithm has the upper bound of this equation. That is, this equation will never ever go higher than this particular amount. Okay. So in general, when we will follow this particular notation, that we have our algorithm that has the complexity of f of n. Let's say that it grows with f of n, and we say that it is within big O of g of n, where g of n is the equation that we are bounding our algorithm by. G of n would be the asymptotic upper bound of our function f of n. It is essentially saying the same thing as, given our function f of n, our function f of n will always grow slower than our function g of n times some constant c. Right, so c times g of n will always be higher than f of n. So in general, when we say that big O of n squared, we say that we are talking about some equation of n which grows in the terms of n squared multiplied by some constant, right? So essentially we say that big O of n squared is the group of all possible equations which has the uppermost bound, and then essentially all our algorithms would, when we say that our algorithm is less than or is a big O of n squared, we mean that our algorithm grows slower than big O of n squared. Okay. I'll give you some examples for this, but before I do that, let me just tell you one thing. If you have any questions during any point of this class or any class, just type it out in the chat box or just unmute your mic and just tell me what the question is. Okay. Okay. So big O of n squared basically means that we have this series of equations where n squared times c is the equation where c can be any constant that will grow in terms of n squared, and our function will grow lower than that particular n squared function. So we can say that the function n belongs to, when we have this E sort of notation, that means that it belongs to big O of n squared. Right, so that means that we have this particular function n squared that will always grow slower than, that will always grow faster than n, because we know that n is a linear function and big O of n squared is like a parabolic function, right? Okay, so similarly, we can also say n squared also belongs to the group of functions of big O of n squared, right? So n squared is, let's say the constant is 1, then n squared is always going to belong to a function where we can always have a big O of n squared, where we can have some constant greater than or equal to 1. Similarly, 1000 times n also belongs to the group of functions big O of n squared. Similarly, n squared plus of n also belongs to the big O notation of n squared. So I will prove this later, but before I do that, can someone tell me if this particular condition is true? N squared plus n belongs to the group of functions big O of n squared. Is there a constant that I can say that n squared plus n will always grow less than c n squared? Where in that scenario, what is c? Anybody? Yes, 100 n square is a thing. Yes, Brian, I do agree. But I would like us, I mean, I know that big O means that it is unbounded and upper bound, but I would still like sort of like a tighter bound than this, but you are in the right track. And wrong answers are fine. Again, this course is not, I mean, this class is not graded, right? I mean, only the quiz and homeworks and exams are graded. So you can say anything. So I have 3, I have 2, I have 1. Any other integer values? C greater than n? Okay. Okay, so I have 2 questions. So the correct answer would be C equals to 2. So I have 2 questions from, so basically I want to ask Yaswanti, Vasireddy and Indu. First I will go with Yaswanti. Yaswanti, tell me why 3?
I thought I didn't consider about the equality. I just considered the less than, so I thought it was 3.
3 is correct. No, 3 is correct.
Yeah, but the tighter bound is 2.
The tighter bound is 2. Okay, so
Yeah.
if the tighter, I will come to the tighter bound in a second. But first, let's so keep that in your mind. But let's talk to Vasireddy. Vasireddy, why do you think that the constant should be 1? Vasireddy going once, going twice. You can give a wrong answer, Vasireddy. I really do not care. I mean, I want to know that you understand. You think you're wrong? Okay, good answer. Why do you think you're wrong? Because let's take 1 n squared, right? So you're assuming that our equation is 1 n squared that we are trying to bound it with. Forget about the tighter bound. Forget about the tighter bound, Vasireddy. Just think about the constant that according to you is 1, right? And just a heads up to all of you, just open the chat window in your Zoom session so that if someone types something out, you can also see. But okay, let's say that our constant is 1. Now let's say that our n, is, let's say 10, right? So currently our equation is n squared plus n. So 10 squared plus of 10 basically becomes 110. Right, so big O of 1 times n squared basically means that our number becomes 100. We are trying to bound it as the upper bound with 110. So that does not work, right? On the other hand, 2 times 100 works fine. 200 can be an upper limit to 110. Okay, so the tighter upper bound, let's say that the approximately tighter upper bound would be 2 of n squared. Now, can you tell me why C should be greater than n?
I thought if we multiply with Cn square, if C is greater than the n which we given in 100n square plus n, if it is greater, it might be, 100n square plus n will be
Perfect.
less than Cn square. That's what I thought, if
Perfect.
C is greater than n, yeah.
Perfect answer. But you need to understand one most important, you have caught on to a very important point here. Remember that when we talk about n in any of our equations, we are assuming that n is the most dominating variable. What that means is n is the largest possible variable that we can have. No other variable can be larger than n. All of the other things are constant. Nothing goes above n. Does that sort of make sense? So C can never be, in our considerations, a constant can never be greater than n. Because if a constant is greater than n, basically we are talking about algorithms that have a very small n or a small size of an array. Right? We do not care about those sizes. We are talking about n in terms of larger and larger sizes. Our equation big O, if you remember this particular diagram here, right? Our equation big O will always grow larger than our current equation f of n after some point in time n0. Right. So when we say that C is greater than n, we are basically considering a point in time where we have this, but we are considering a smaller case of n, where we do not consider such things anymore. We are talking about trillions or quadrillions of numbers. Does that make sense? Very good. Okay. So I'll come to explaining this thing in more detail, but n squared plus n is in big O of n squared, right? Okay. Similarly, 100 n squared plus of n, there is a constant that we can multiply with n squared, and we can always upper bound that particular amount. We can always say that our n squared has a constant of 101. In that case, it's basically the same thing as saying, I should bring up a new. So we can always say that 100 n squared, let's say this is n squared plus of n, is always going to be smaller than 101 n squared. Why? Because we can separate 101 n squared as 100 n squared plus of n squared, right? And we know that 100 n squared and 100 n squared is fine, that's something, but n will always grow smaller than n squared, right? So we can say that the upper bound of this particular equation has the constant 101. Right, so we can say that 100 n squared plus of n is always going to be big O of n squared. Now, let's take this particular example here. It's written a bit weirdly, but let's say that it is n cubed by 1000. So n cubed divided by 1000 is not going to be a member of n squared, or at least big O of n squared, right? Because no matter what the constant is, when the constant is a fixed number, no matter what the constant is, we still can't have our guarantee that n squared will grow larger than n cubed. Okay. Then we have big omega. Big omega essentially means that we are trying to find out the lower bound of our equation. So the lower bound means that we have a particular equation and our algorithm will always grow faster than our current assumption. So lower bound basically means that, let's say that our algorithm takes n squared time, then a lower bound could be big O of 1 or big O of n, where n grows linearly, right? So we can say that n squared is has a lower bound of big omega of n. Similarly, n squared by 1000 has a big omega or a lower bound of big omega of n, because we know that n will always grow slower than n squared.